Hey everybody, it's Mike with Monkey Fab.
Today we're moving along with the BRZ build, doing some cooling mods and whatnot. In the previous episodes we built this, what do you want to call it, oil cooler shroud, and we attached it up into the frame up in there, and I already built this shroud for the radiator and intercooler. The car itself is a BRZ. Not really sure what year it is. It doesn't really matter because they're all the same chassis anyway. But this guy road races it, and he's got a ton of money into it. It has the full race turbo kit. He had I think it's a Rotex supercharger, and that sucks balls and didn't make any power, not enough power for this guy, so he upgraded it to the full race turbo, and that came along with some heating, some cooling issues, which is how the install went, and the modifications weren't there for the cooling, so we've done that. Now I have to do this air intake over here, so I'm probably going to do it in titanium, and just kind of route down there. What I'm thinking now, so when you go into these things, you have to look at, like, well, what do you do? Maybe Google, see what's out there, and then just use your imagination. So for this guy, I've stared at it, thought about it, and these bars on either side are screwing me. These go to this, it's not there anymore, this carbon fiber splitter that goes in the front, which the owner of the vehicle says makes a ton of downforce, and he says, like, good for 30 more miles in a tight corner, which is impressive. So to me, that, as a fabricator guy, I kind of think, like, wow, that's probably generating some serious downforce if that's the case. So with these arms that attach to it, they usually stick up here. Is that, if I can get do like a pan, maybe that'll give you an idea. And what they need to do is go back here, so I have room to work in these. Now, I already did that with the other side, kind of pushed it back. So what I think I'm going to do is make a foot for this to bolt in. If you see, these guys got these little feet. So I'm going to make a much longer version of this, so it distributes the loads between the front and the back, and a little bit on the lateral, to hold that in place. And then in here, I think that what I'll do is I'll just build a box to go back here. And the problem becomes, what happens if you're racing in a downpour, which these guys do. If I just left the filter sitting right here, it depending on where he's at in the track or what the conditions are, it is a possibility that he could suck a bunch of water into the engine and hurt it. So what I think I'll do is I'll make like a shield basically in front. They'll kind of curve back towards here, so this all will be open, but this will kind of shield it. At the back of it, we'll put a hole so that the heavier water will be able to just be pushed back and out, and the lighter air will then circulate. It's okay to get a little bit of water in your intake. It happens all the time. When you have humidity in the air, that's what it is. You're pulling water into your system. The bad thing about that is it displaces the oxygen, which means you have less power, but it also has a cooling effect too, which effectively raises your octane. So under these boosted motors, you can actually, it's kind of like a meth system without the meth. So anyway, we'll set that up and see how it goes. We'll just, when these guys, it's best just to start working, get some cardboard out, and just kind of go to town, and hopefully it'll work. If you can get it right with the cardboard, the CAD design, the cardboard aided design, then you can just go ahead and move on, to reproducing it in aluminum. I was messing with the titanium, but it's so flimsy. The 1 mil thick stuff it's so flimsy. It requires a lot of handling stuff that would just make the price go out the window. So we'll do the tube in titanium, and the aluminum is nice and rigid. and it's easy to work with and easy to weld. So we'll stick with the aluminum for the actual construction of the box, the air ducting itself, and that's about it. So on to like my videos. So I'm new at this. I only have about 40 videos up or whatever. So I'm working on everything. From I bought this expensive microphone and it seems to be working. I have it on low pass right now, so it's got a low pass or a high pass, something like that, filter that basically clips off background noise, it's supposed to. So I just keep trying new things in the videos, and I'm not going to go back and reshoot this stuff just because it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, or the video didn't work the way I wanted it to. Because number one is, if you ever made a video and then they went back through, edited it, and put it up where it was something that someone might be interested in watching, it takes a ton of time to do that. And I really don't care that much. I'm throwing it up there. If it interests you, then you can watch and get something out of the content, hopefully, because I enjoy sharing that. I enjoy sharing my knowledge, and maybe you can see what I'm doing and pick up on it. And I'm also playing with my style, like how do I put together a video that's worth watching. And I look at other videos and stuff that I see. Like right now, I just feel like I'm rambling on. I know I'm explaining stuff, but I wouldn't want to watch someone just talking and talking. I like to know like what the info is. So I've been messing with like speed up video, like 7 times normal speed, and I think that works semi well. Because you don't need to see everything I'm doing, and I don't need to explain everything I'm doing. If I do, then this probably isn't something that you're interested in the first place, because you don't have the rudimentary basics to understand what's going on. What we're drilling, bending, welding, or whatever, and that's fine. That just find move along, find something you do like, or is better suited for what entertains you. The other piece of that is, so I'll probably be going back and forth. I think what I'm going to try is just jumping back and forth between I'll videotape what I'm working on. I don't have like 16 cameras. I got one. They're expensive. It's like $500 or something for one of these stupid GoPros, and I just don't have time to shoot multiple angles and collect the video. Or I probably do have time, but I just don't care to spend that time editing the videos. So I think what I'll do is, like I said, I'll just kind of post up the camera where you can kind of see me. If I think that I'm doing something that's like, maybe it warrants some more explanation, or might be interesting, then I might stop, go to regular speed and explain stuff and talk. But I don't think that I should just be shooting a video and rambling to the microphone endlessly. I just don't like that idea. But I'm happy to hear what you guys have to say. So if you have actual constructive criticism, I'm open to learning. I'd take what your guys' knowledge are. Maybe you're in a similar situation and you shoot video yourself and edit it and post it, and you have like, hey, here's a style you might want to check out. I'm happy to hear that stuff. If you're just bitching, in one word, complaints or gripes, then just go elsewhere. You have no impulse control. You're probably a child, and I just don't want you, and I don't care to have you subscribe to the channel. So just go away. But if you got something that doesn't have to be positive, I'm okay with, dude, you suck because, that's fine. I've lived, I did the Army for 25 years. That's kind of how we rolled, I'd love to hear that. So I can take that and maybe make a better product, because it'd be nice to share something that other people can learn from. That's the whole reason I'm doing it in the first place, and then make an enjoyable experience for everyone as well. That would be great. So I think that's what we'll do, is we'll just shoot it. It'll probably be sped up. I'll try to throw on some headphones today and work with it. I like listening to like talk radio, because I just hate being in the garage alone. You can't play music because YouTube will shut your stuff down, and nobody wants to hear that stupid YouTube approved fucking music. It's horrible. So I'm not gonna put it in there. If it's on fast forward and it's like squeaky sounds and you don't like it, there's this shit on the computer or on your phone that is called a volume, and you can just turn it down, and when it stops to regular motion, you can turn it back up and listen to what has to be said. I think that works. I think that if I was watching a video, that's what I want. I want to get through the bullshit. If there's something important, I want to hear it. So we'll move on with that and get things moving along. Hope you enjoy. All right, it's like November, and it's probably like November 18th, something like that. And we're in Texas, and it's fucking 78 degrees outside. But I've opened the door and put the video camera here so you guys can see. Otherwise, you wouldn't see anything. So I'm suffering in this heat so that you guys can enjoy. So I hope you appreciate that fact, and I hope you enjoy it. So I was hoping the air filter for this thing would be here, but it's not. So I got a piece of 5-inch stainless steel tubing that was just like drop, and I made it the same size as what the filter is going to be. So we'll just kind of use this for mock-up, you know, have an idea. It's not, you know, it's not super critical, but it's nice to have that. I mean, obviously it's got to be big enough to fit it, but it's nice to have that like geometrical representation of what you have to work with. Where it's going to be at, and it just helps you kind of visualize everything in your head when you're doing. So what we did here is just kind of made a base, and the base goes up into the frame, because of the frame of this bumper, but basically we got a pretty massive ledge right here. If you measure here to here, that's probably about 5 inches of overlap, and all we have to do is just to make it look, you know, kind of nice, is catch it anywhere in here. It doesn't matter as long as it's blocked in and boxed in. That's what's going to make it effective and, you know, give it some decent aesthetics. So with that, you can kind of see, got this guy here, and there is, I want to focus, give me some light. Not give me any light, that's fine. We got flashlights. So in there is that bar, the bar that's integrated into this intercooler support. I think what we'll do is we'll just make this box so it'll basically butt up next to that intercooler support. We'll drill it and put a couple of probably self-tappers, not self-tappers, no. We're going to put some rivet nuts into there and use that to bolt this box that we'll make here. So now it's just a matter of, so we got this guy in here, and it'll kind of set like this. That'll be the air filter, and then we'll have like that block off wing in front of it that I was talking about. So that's kind of the direction we're going. You guys saw me basically just trimming up this cardboard. I got underneath it, kind of took some measurements about where things should be at, and basically just cut a piece out that was kind of roughly the size, and then just kind of contoured it into where it should be. And basically what we got here is like a third of a box, 1, 2, 3, close to it. And then I ran my pipes. You saw me kind of filling the pipes, and I just want to make sure that it comes down, that when I have this air filter in there, that I can get it kind of situated right around it here. And then, like I said, we'll build that shield in the front there, and I'll probably put a little cap over the top of it, and we'll cut a hole back here for water to shoot past. And that will be pretty much it. So the biggest thing is taking your time, contouring it out, kind of making roughly what you need with your aluminum pieces or your cardboard pieces before you transfer it to aluminum, and then just making sure that you test fit it and that you have enough room for what you want. This will be nice because all the stuff that we're putting on here, again, it'll be completely autonomous with the bumper, so the bumper will come on and off with just a few pushes of the button, the quick releases, and everything on the front will be accessible from that. And everything else is actually got very few bolts or moving parts. So basically just a couple of nut rivets. We're going to be able to pop this thing on, and it'll be a nice little sturdy box. Should be nice and tight in there. So that's it. I'll just keep kind of test fitting the bumper. I'll kind of cut the pieces out that I want to be made out of aluminum, and once I got it all done, then I'll just blow it apart and recreate it.
So it's always a good thing
To do when you're working with stuff that's around suspension, especially like turning wheels, is to go ahead and turn your wheel to full lock to minimize your space. If you look at these fender liners, one's laying over there on the ground because it just fell out when I was trying to move this in and out of the shop, but you can see, pretty sure you can see that. It's a big ass hole in the back of that liner there with all that light's coming through. That's from the tires rubbing on the fender liner. So, when you're mocking stuff up, turn it full lock, and if it's even questionable, go ahead and pull out a jack or put the suspension on it just to load up the suspension and make sure you got room to do what it is you're doing, because it would suck to spend 8 16 hours, whatever it is, on fabricating all this stuff out and bolting it together and being like, yeah, giving yourself high fives and posting up your pictures on Instagram, and then you go to turn the wheel and it rubs and you have to do the whole thing over again. And oh, by the way, you don't get to charge for that material or that time. You're just out that because you're stupid and didn't do the right thing. So just laying it out here, I mean, you just take them, blow apart what you've made out of your cardboard, and just lay it down. And the idea is, you know, just like with woodworking, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with working wood. You want to, you know, measure twice, cut once. You want to set it up so that you're using as much, so you're creating as little waste as possible. You know, aluminum sheet costs money, so if I can set it up where I cut out, because once I make a cut, then, you know, whatever's in that stuff, like this, you know, space here, you know, if I can't find anything else to make with it, then that's just garbage or recycle, and which is fine, but it's not as valuable as if, you know, you made a breather out of it, or an oil catch can, or something that you can actually, you know, make money off of. So I just set it up here. Here's the bottom, the side walls, and this is going to be our funnel piece that will, you know, divert the air and the water around the front, and it'll probably just need like a smaller piece to go in the corner to zoom out there. That we can take. So laying it out, that's if I go over and just whack that on the shear, then that's going to give me enough to work with, plenty enough to work with, and not you know, create a lot of waste. So I usually work in 11 gauge, which is 1/25 thousandths wall, which is also 1/8 inch thick aluminum. Just because it's easy, it's, you know, a good compromise between its weight versus its strength, and you know, I'd buy sheets like that. This is 090 wall, I believe, because I really don't need it to be super rigid. I just need to catch air. So it is, we don't know millimeters, the metric system. You know, there's two types of countries in the world: those that use a metric system and those that have been to the moon. So this is actually 100 watt, looks like. No, it's 90. So 90 thou, which is great. That'll work perfect for this. So I'm going to take this over to the shear, bam, and then we'll lay it out and start cutting stuff. Yep. Now we shut the door and we turn on the air conditioning, and it is blissful in here. Because if you live in Texas, there's one thing in the world that you love above everything else. Well, maybe, possibly tacos, but besides tacos, then it's probably air conditioning. It's blissful. So do you know how to work these? You probably should know how. If you don't, then it's bad. It's good that I'm fat. It makes it easier. It's bad that I'm old, because it hurts.